Well, hello. When you talk about performing and leading teams in a rapidly changing environment, sometimes people can get into the mindset of, as Cortez did when he got to the New World, of burning his ships so there's no option except success. I want to give you a circumstance that happened in my journey, and it was really when I was in college. Wanted to go back and fly in the military, and particularly wanted to fly fighters in the military. Approached a recruiter and asked him what a good course would be to take, and he said, well, I think they need a lot of math. And so I said, okay, I'll get a degree in math. Went into ROTC in my first semester in college, and I was filling out some paperwork for a scholarship. And the tech sergeant that was standing over me, I'll never forget his face. He looked over at over my shoulder and looked at my birthday, and he said, is that your birthday? Because I had gone to a 2-year technical school and worked before going back to college to do this, because I realized this was my passion. I looked up and I said, yeah, that's my birthday, why? And he said, you realize you have to be commissioned by your 25th birthday in order to fly, don't you? And I went, whoa. And I mapped it all out, and that was going to be 3.5 years away. And I looked up at him and I said, well, I guess I'll do it. And I mapped out a course over 3.5 years. An average course load for every semester was about 21 hours of coursework. Very heavy, very tough. My parents were divorced. They didn't have a lot of money, that kind of thing. And so I knew it was going to be tough. Went to every summer school session except for 2, where I went to summer camp and the 3rd Lieutenant program in ROTC. Came down to the last semester in college, and I had 6 hours of credit to get to graduate in the last summer school session that was going to end just slightly before my 25th birthday. I was wiped out because in my whole senior year, I pretty much lived off of Lipton cup of soups in my dorm room. In that last summer school session, I took a physics course that I thought I could do well in it, and I took a first-year graduate level course in imaginary calculus. Went on through the course, took the final in the imaginary calculus course. And I knew I either had a C or a D with the energy that I had left. I had pretty much laid it all on the field, if you will. But I didn't know. If I got a D, I would never graduate on time. If I got a C, everything happened great. So it all hinged on this one point. After the final, I went over about 2 or 3 times a day to Harrelson Hall to see if the grades were posted, before the internet, obviously. And nothing. Went over finally on the Thursday after going over all week long. It was the Thursday that was the day before my 25th birthday. I went over there about 6 times during the day to see if the grades were posted. Nothing. Finally, it was about 5:05, 10 after 5, Thursday late afternoon. Went over there. The professor's door was locked, lights were out. The lights in Harrelson Hall were out, other than just some emergency lights and stuff. And I looked, no grades posted. And for the first time in my life, my head, everything spiritually just collapsed on the floor. And I stood there with my shoulders and head hanging. And literally, I remember even verbalizing the words, what do I do now? I was completely and totally wiped out and defeated. And all of a sudden, I heard footsteps. And I looked up, and who comes around the corner but this professor? He walked up to me and he said, may I help you? And I said, yes, sir. I said, I'm Randy. I'm in your Math 501 class. I'm wondering if you have the finals graded. And he looked at me, and this professor was not known for curving anything. You got what you deserved, kind of thing. He looked at me and he said, no, I don't have them graded yet. And I said, well, here's what I got going, sir. I've got to be commissioned tomorrow. I didn't ask him for anything that I didn't deserve. I said, hey, is there any chance I could just get you to grade mine real quick so I know? And this professor, without missing a beat, looked in my eye and said, if you have plans like that, I will give you a C. And I was shocked. I said, really, sir? He said, I will give you a C. And it knocked my socks off. This guy saw something in me or experienced something in me that made him do that. He would have been perfectly professional and right if he didn't. But there was something there that made him do that. And I called the ROTC, and the next day, on my 25th birthday, I took the oath of commissioning and pinned the second lieutenant bars on, and I was off and running. Had an award-winning career as a pilot and also as a coach now. This guy believed in me. He experienced something. What's my lesson out of this? The simple lesson out of this is, in a rapidly changing environment, very often managers can think of, okay, just don't give them any options, burn the ships, they live or die. That wasn't the thing that got me through all of that. The thing that got me through all that was my passion for what I was pursuing. I was willing to live and die on that mountain pursuing that. And there was something about that. I didn't negotiate, I didn't try to convince the professor. There was something that he experienced that made the difference for him. Leaders understand that. Leaders understand what it is to reach into their people and pull out the passion that's there and the potential that's there, and to feed that and to bring that into the synergy of the teams. And that is critical when you're talking about performing in a rapidly changing environment. Help to burn the bridges? Yeah, sometimes, but it's insufficient. The motivation comes from within who the people are, and that's critical to understand. So I leave that with you, and we'll look forward to having a conversation on the next video. All of us have more potential than we're currently using. Our vision at Coaching for Relevance is to bring freedom to potential in all those across my path. So I want to just challenge you to go check out our organizational maneuverability course and see how that can provide you insights that maybe that you're not seeing right now. And I also want to invite you to give us a call if you'd like to have a conversation about some items. So we want to just leave that with you, and thank you for your time.